We're back on that film study grind. Week one of college football is in the books. I'm going to try to do one of these for you every week. I can't promise you that I will, but I do think the film study element is something I would like to do more of. Not only have the videos done pretty well, I've gotten some good feedback, but it's also helped me a lot in just diving more into what I'm seeing and how I can kind of apply it to the betting markets. I want to give a shout out to Brooks Austin. He's the best at doing this film study content right now. I am nowhere on his level in terms of ball knowing, but I'm learning and I'm a fast learner, and this is a passion of mine, and I think I have a knack for it because of the fact that I played and that I'm coaching now, and that all I do all day is watch ball. So I'm going to show you today some Shannon Dawson film. Who is Shannon Dawson? He is the offensive coordinator at Miami. Loved what we saw from the Hurricanes offense in that game against Notre Dame on Sunday night. Especially early in the game, Notre Dame actually threw a curveball at them. Usually Notre Dame's a very man-heavy team, but on the first drive of the game, they went zone. And then on the second drive of the game, you started to see some of those man concepts that we're very used to seeing with Notre Dame defensively. And Miami was ready for it. They were ready for it all night long. They kind of dipped their level a little bit in the second half. I'll call that the Mario Cristobal tight sphincter syndrome effect. But quarters 1 through 3, this Miami offense was absolutely humming. The offensive line was fantastic. You give Carson Beck time to just sit back in the pocket and chill. I think he is going to have a really good season for that Miami offense. So this is after the first drive. I believe this is the second drive. And Miami is going to come out in a concept that I really love here. And they're going to come out in trips bunch. And I want to highlight this right out of the gate because you can see motion man coming here confirms the man coverage, right? And that's something that I look for right away. We see a lot of this in the NFL and in college football. Pre-snap motion. What pre-snap motion does when you see this guy number 7 go in motion here and the defensive back is going to run with him, it's just going to confirm man coverage. And it just gives Carson Beck a little bit of a hint right before the snap what Notre Dame's defense is going to do. So right now they're showing man with a single high safety look. Here's the bunch, right? Trips bunch. And the reason why we saw a lot of bunch formations tight to the line of scrimmage. We saw Miami run a lot of this in the game against Notre Dame. Why do I love this? Well, if Notre Dame wants to play man coverage, we know that's Notre Dame's MO. Tight, aggressive, bump and run, man-to-man coverage right at the line of scrimmage. When you run these bunch sets, especially tight to the line of scrimmage, it's really hard for Notre Dame to be up in their grill. Like you see both of the defenders back here. So to me, this is an advantage for Miami, knowing that Notre Dame likes to play a lot of man. You put these receivers in tight bunch formations, and it makes it really hard for Notre Dame secondary to get up in the face of the Miami receivers. They get a free release, and then they can do what they want at the line of scrimmage. So what we're going to see on this particular play, we're going to see, and Malachi Toney was fantastic in this game. Freshman, 5'10 speedster, made some really big plays. We're actually going to see Carson Beck make the wrong read here. I think he decided before this play even started. So Tony's going to run this rail route. And you see it, first of all, just looking at it, a lot of space out there, right? No, single high safety. He's shaded to the other side of the field. It looks like Tony's going to have a lot of space on this rail route. Outside receiver is going to run the drag. And then the tight end here is just going to run a little delay up the field. But you could tell right out of the gate that Carson Beck, first of all, he's looking to the left to try to keep that safety locked. So that's the first thing I noticed. See, his eyes are right on the safety here. Right when he gets the snap, he's still looking right at the safety. He's trying to keep this safety locked into this position because he wants to hit Toney on the rail route. And Toney actually runs a pretty good route. And Carson Beck, this is good coverage here on the outside. Carson Beck puts the ball in the only place that he can. It's either his guy's going to catch it or nobody's going to catch it. Turns out nobody's going to catch it. And the safety even almost got over there. I mean, look at the really nice play by the safety. Comes from all the way from the short side of the field and then gets all the way back to the wide side and makes that play. You can see it a little bit better here from the tight. You could just see the rail route that Toney runs and how he gets a really good release off the line of scrimmage. And why is he able to get a good release? Well, that's because they're in bunch formation, and it's a little bit harder for the secondary to get up in the face. So nice release by Toney there on the outside. But Carson Beck he decided before this play started that he was going to go to Tony. But I want you to watch number 7 here coming wide open on the drag route because that's the read. I mean, look at number 7. And the reason why number 7 is able to get such a clean release on this drag route is because they're running this bunch set. And 0, the corner here, is just unable to get up in his face. And then he runs right underneath. Nice little mesh concept. We saw a lot of mesh. That's a great concept to beat man-to-man coverage is anything mesh, drag routes. And we're going to see a little bit more of that a little bit later in this film study. But, I mean, he's wide open. You know, Carson's not even looking. He's locked in to that rail route because before the snap started, probably said, this is where I'm going to go. But come on, Carson. Let this play develop a little bit. I mean, you got 7 running the grass here. And that, unfortunately, was a miss. Incomplete pass. I believe Miami missed the field goal on this drive. I forget how the drive ended. All right, later in the first quarter, right? I think it's later in the first quarter. Let me check Yeah, this is late first quarter, 3rd down. So money down, obvious passing down for Miami. So they're going to come out in a bunch set again. Look at that. Tight. This time they don't have the tight end on this side of the field. This is just a twins bunch. Not a trips bunch, but it puts Notre Dame's defense in a bit of a tough spot because they can't really get up and press that outside receiver. And to me, this is a genius concept. I think you might have, maybe you call this a hinge route by Malachi Tony. But what he does is he fakes the inside and then he hinges it to the outside. You get this outside receiver who's going to basically run an angle route. I'll show you that again. So watch the receivers. Tony fakes inside, then comes outside, and he's, again, wide open. Great spacing and easy first down for Miami. You really see this open up nicely from the tight. And I think that's where Miami's going to win with these guys all year. I mean, they've got some good receivers, and Carson Beck, who I consider more of a distributor, he's got a good OC, Shannon Dawson, calling plays for him, who took Cam Ward from Incarnate Word to Washington State, 0-star recruit to the number 1 pick. Imagine what he can do with a 4-star recruit like Carson Beck. So you get the angle route here, and then you get the hinge route, and this is like a very basic mesh man beater concept. Like it's just really hard for these corners, one of them who's back off the line of scrimmage, to not A, run into each other, B, try to figure out where these guys are going when they're crossing like that. And the reason why this route and this concept works really well is I think both corners probably think this is a drag route because those are the routes that you typically run against man. You run these mesh drag concepts, but when you fake it and you get the corners, like both corners, especially this bottom corner here, watch number 5. Number 5 is running over the middle because he knows, or excuse me, that's 15, the corner for Notre Dame. He knows that in order for him to get through all the traffic, like let's say he's thinking drag, because these Notre Dame corners have probably been drilled all week long, mesh, drag routes. That's what's been killing our man-to-man coverage. So once you see these 2 receivers start to make that beeline over the middle, these corners, their antennas go up, drag. So they start committing hard over the top, which is why the hinge routes work so well. I mean, both of these guys are wide open, honestly. You could have picked either side here, and you would have been open. Nice pocket for Carson Beck to throw in. I mean, this is fish in a barrel right here. I mean, look at all this grass for these guys to run to because of this great scheme that Shannon Dawson's drawn up, and it puts these corners for Notre Dame in a bind. So what does this mean for the betting markets? What does this mean for Carson Beck and maybe his chances of winning the Heisman Trophy? Well, Miami got past their tough game already. It was this one against Notre Dame. The rest of their schedule is really soft. I did take a little Beck this week at almost 13-1 to win the Heisman. I already have Sellers in my back pocket. I have Arch in my back pocket. That's probably a lemon at this point, but maybe not. I think the Arch tape Some of it was him for sure and being jittery, but some of it was a really good Ohio State defense. I think he'll show better against some of the lesser defenses in college football. But I think Miami's got a real shot here to be not only a playoff team, but also win the ACC. This is a really good scheme. And Shannon Dawson's a really good coordinator. He's a really good play caller. I don't fully trust Mario Cristobal in those tight moments, but I think with Carson Beck, you have an elite distributor of the football. And if the scheme is right, and guys like Malachi Toney and CJ Daniels making one-handed plays are finishing these types of big play potential, I think there's a lot of opportunities for explosives with this Miami team. And the offensive line is absolutely fantastic. Elite offensive line, probably one of the best in college football. So Beck's going to have a ton of time to throw. He's got a good scheme, and he's got good receivers to throw to. The Miami defense, better this year, but still, I would say maybe above average, slightly, probably average. So Beck's going to be relied upon to score a lot of points this season. So there's a chance. I think if Miami goes 10-2, 11-1, definitely he'll be on the podium. But if they go 10-2, he'll get an invite to New York. And I think because of their schedule, that number's probably going to keep coming down. They've got a tough game against Florida coming up. But they got past, I think, one of their toughest games, if not their toughest game of the season, with a win. And I think that deserves some recognition. So Carson Beck, Shannon Dawson, great stuff in week 1. And I hope you enjoyed the film study.